always we believe that we know what is this. How this is different from very the UPSC in the questions. Very simple terms. If you look at the dictionary, you get the dictionary meaning. I'm not interested in the dictionary meaning. I'm interested in commonsensical, what is in my life experiences. If you get that one or two examples of your honesty, of integrity, then probity is a little bit of very simplest of HDMI 3, this one. We take 3 words. What is the difference between honesty, integrity? And probity. I can use the word if I'm logical, if I am using my brain, my intelligence. Just it is a brain. Like what the rule says, I follow that rule. What the law says, I follow it. I don't know morality. I don't know ethics. If you give me command in writing, I'll implement it. That is honesty. What the mind says, it's a mind driven. Every public functionary is expected to uphold the rule of law, as simple as that. First, apply your mind. Means be honest. What the rule says, up to that. This is the mind. Now, some of you, anybody can implement, yaar. So there must be beyond the rule, beyond the mind. What is that? I bring in my heart into it. I not only implement the law and procedure. What I do, again, take an example of this is equality. This is equality. Law is applicable to all of us. I apply only this law. The mind says, if the rule permits, I'll help you. If rule doesn't permit, I'm so sorry. I'm honest up to that point. I hope you come across these type of, that is equality. So honesty is always looks to equality. There is no inequality in application of law. That is dishonesty. Honesty opposite is dishonesty. What dishonesty says, you show me the face, I'll extend the favor. Don't worry. Don't worry about the procedure. I know how to bend. That is a mind driven. This is so dishonesty. Now, equality is understood. Now, when it comes to the heart, it says that I'm a human being and I have to be considerate, sympathetic, empathetic. Can I help? I know the rule. The mind says only the rule. You are bringing in, you have the courage to bring in your heart. That is the ethics. One of the characteristics is voluntary, number one, right? Again, going back to the same. So you have to have the courage to go beyond your mind. So that is, now here, this is, heart is equity. Equity. What is equity then? How equality is different from equity. Equity's integrity is, see here, this one, I'll take the simplest of the example of the Telangana government has introduced free bus service. You take the same example, free bus service to all the women. Correct? So this is equality. Now, I want to argue with the Chief Minister. Because your equality, that means you are mind driven, it's more of populist. You want to impress the women of this entire state. Now, what I do, I bring in my heart. Sir, out of this, can we consider physically challenged women first? All women. Sir, shall we extend this to the free bus ride? Out of the women, can we consider only, example, aged women, more than 60 years of age? What I'm doing is, from this, using the mind, when it comes to the policy formulation for extending free bus ride to women, I'm trying to bring in something which my heart tells that all women doesn't need the free bus ride. Who deserves the most? Those who are having a unique needs. Right? All women do not need free bus ride. There are some women with unique needs. All women below BPL family, women from BPL families, because they're poor, they have to go to daily wage earning to sell vegetables, to come to the city to work in your house as a maid servant. She earns around 5,000 to 6,000 rupees a month as a maid servant, or 10,000. If free bus is given to her, that is empowerment, right? So can we identify the special and unique needs among the women? This is silent. The law is silent here. That's why law is called donkey. It emphasizes equality. But your heart says that, can we identify something unique about the woman? Once you say that this is equity, this is integrity. So integrity is at the higher level than honesty. Honesty is expected as per the rules, as per the procedure. There is absolutely, we will be either discharged from service, removed from service, sent to jail because of the dishonesty. But nobody can take our job away if I don't show integrity. In the sense that I go by the rule, I don't want any ethics into this. I'm not unethical, I'm legal. I hope you are getting the difference between now. Integrity is the higher level than the honesty. Then what is a probity then? I hope you are getting the difference between. Now, the Vinayaka Chauthi is coming next month. I'm very sure in your colonies, there is contribution by the, right? It's a voluntary contribution. Now, you are the committee chairman. You go to the public, shop owners, public, house to house, you collect donations, right? You collect donations. Now, this donation is not your property, right? So you are the custodian of these donations. The very fact that this is not my own money, it is the public money for a purpose. I'm just a custodian or a trustee. Hence, I shall account for the last paisa. How do I account for that one? What I do is I introduced payment, all payments UPI, all payments, all donations collected only through checks or wire transfer only. No cash is permitted. So what you are doing is your collection is open and transparent. Correct? The way you collected is open and transparent. The way you disbursed that, utilized, is through open and transparent. Whoever follows this transparency to the letter and spirit is observing probity in public life. Because as a district collector, you will be handling, as a principal secretary, I have seen, I experienced, as a police officer, we don't deal with the taxpayers' money. We don't collect any revenue. But once you join the secretariat there as a principal secretary, animal husbandry, my God, yeah, unlimited financial powers. Only the budget has to be there. I can spend 100 crores, 200 crores. Now, is that money mine? It's not. And I'm just a custodian, I'm a trustee of this public. That's why, again, I'm coming back to why we are called public servants. We used the phrase public servants. Why? A servant's salary is paid by the taxes. Who is our master? Public. Who is that public? Everybody. Means not in a single, you can't pinpoint he or she is my master. It is a public. That's why servant means that who takes care of your payment. That is the master. Master is the public. That's why we are all called public servants, because we are, as a collector, as a district collector, we are the trustee of nearly 20 to 30,000 crores. It depends on the district size. It is like probity is basically about the openness and transparency when it comes to especially the financial matters. That is a probity. Now, honesty is strict adherence to the rule of law, the procedure given. If there is any violation of that law, I have the courage to admit that it is my mistake. Integrity is next level, which is bringing in your heart, where the rule of law is silent. Now, from equality, you are drifting to equity is an integrity. I'm not going into the integer means the wholeness, or this is what is your word, what is your deed, and what are your thoughts are merged together is integrity. Is a theoretical definition. What I think, I say that. What I say, I do. That is integrity. Manasa vacha karmana. Na manaske idi lawful and useful, I'll do it. That is integrity. So integrity requires, what you call this, here it doesn't require any courage. It requires whether law followed, rules followed, not followed, I admit my mistake. But here it requires more, integrity requires moral courage. Because this is voluntary. It is on your own. Probity, why I mentioned is this ARC specifically has mentioned the probity in public life. He specifically mentioned about probity, this word. So UPSC takes up these type of. Now going to the questions, we'll see one or two questions. Then, is it that difficult to write in 30 words what integrity means? It is the wholeness. It is the word, thought, word and deed are merged together is integrity. This is the important and the most valued personality trait in public service. Integrity is using our heart. One has to have courage. It's more than law. That's it. Next, perseverance means perseverance is, it says that you are transferred out. You are so committed to yourself, your ethics, your morality, so that if I get an opportunity, I help. If I can't help, I don't do injustice by favoring somebody. You will be tested again and again and again and again. It's not one time. Your honesty will be tested. Your integrity will be tested again and again and again. The day you joined the service, the day you left the service, you will be. That is called perseverance. Means, do you have that what you call, you may call it, the perseverance is basically like withstanding political pressure, temptations, power traps. This is, can you be honest through, as simple as that. As like I'm the public servant, I'll not do any injustice to anybody. One of the challenges before a uniformed person, especially where the militancy, terrorism, insurgency is rampant, you are under tremendous pressure as a district SP. There is always like Tokona. This is the word here. I need numbers. So, one fall, like life gone. One false encounter, gone life taken away. For that, so that, oh, he's the most courageous fellow. So gallantry medal, chief minister's valor medal, all types of medals is dangled. I'll not pull the trigger if I'm not challenged. If he is challenging, your life is in danger. You paid me, or you trained me, you gave me a weapon to protect your life. There is a question also on this. That's what, there is one question, it says that patriotism, even to the extent of laying down the life in defending, that there was a question here. Like, so I'm trained to protect you. Why should I take, that guy is a rogue, he shall be. But my commitment, perseverance is basically my commitment to my conduct, is perseverance. It's a self-commitment. You will be tested. You will be tempted again and again and again. Mark my word. You will be. And out of 10,000 IAS officers, 4,000 IPS officers, hardly they develop this. So every service has, now point here is, can I just bring it down to the common sense level? Because 30 words, not more than 30 words. What is the spirit of service? Whether it is IAS or IPS or foreign service or any government service, it is. This shows that this and this, why this one? It requires, see, I have individuality. My individuality has my moral brought up, my religion, my faith, my caste, my region, my language, my culture is a part of me. I become an IAS officer, means the service. Now, like I have my own personality, each one of us has our own personality, our own character, right? The service also has its own character. Every service. The service has its own identity, I call it. Like this gives us our identity, like each service has its identity. Once you join the service, you have to forego your identity to imbibe the spirit of this identity. Then what are this identity? This identity is basically openness. The 7 characteristics of the Nolan is identity. Like it says that selflessness, openness, objectivity, honesty or integrity, I'm not sure, integrity. So these are the characteristics of this service which gives the identity of each service. Has its own identity because of this. Police service has its own identity. Where will you find this identity is reflected as? This identity is reflected in code of conduct. Now, what is the spirit of service? Means what? The service has its own identity based on universal principles. So my identity, when it is at loggerheads with the service, then I shall forego my identity. That is the spirit of service. The spirit of service is foregoing temporarily your identity as an individual, because you are no more an individual, a public servant. So this transition from individual to an officer, once you identify that spirit of the service, means it has its own identity based on the Nolan 7 principles. So this identity, you are supposed to assume this identity as long as you are in the service. That's why most of them are misfit. This I have noticed in the IPS Academy. Invariably, the second option, very few give IPS as a first option. They give second IPS. They missed IAS, landed up in IPS, landed up in National Police Academy, and first gaya. They refuse to acknowledge that they are misfit in the service. Mentally they are misfit, physically they are misfit. But all India service na, रहने दे, ठीक है यार. That is a dishonesty, absolutely dishonesty. Many such cases. So they want to somehow get out of the service. Again, take the exam again. By all means take. But don't be dishonest with yourself in this service. That's academy is, National Police Academy especially. So spirit of service is basically an identity. Each service has its own identity, and foregoing our identity to imbibe the spirit means what the service expects from us. Next is commitment. These are the words used in the ARC. Why I'm taking that question is the commitment we all know. Commitment to, what are they? What do we commit? Commit to, this is commit to oneself. Commit oneself to the ethos of the service. The service expects you to forego an element of your private life. Classic example of commitment to the service is classic example of both IAS and IPS officers, especially IAS officers when they are district magistrates. In this period, they are the executive magistrates in charge of the law and order. This is the law. As long as you are the district collector, district magistrate, subdivisional magistrate, in that subdivision, you are the executive magistrate in charge of law and order. Enforced through police. Now, what is the commitment here? The example is, as long as you are the district collector, executive magistrate, as long as you are the police officer, you are supposed to be on duty round the clock. Simple. I'm in my bedroom, I'm taking rest. Let the houses jalne de. Tomorrow, office hours, I'll come. Because 10 to 5 job. An IAS officer job is 10 to 5 job. Why this 24 hours clause? Exactly, this is a classic example of commitment. The commitment is shown. This is one classic example. Second classic example is natural calamities. These two service officers, they leave their family behind, and whether it is Bhuj earthquake or Kerala floods or Hyderabad floods, you name it, any natural calamity, your commitment is shown that till this problem is solved, I'm there at the place. That is the commitment. One is the 24 hours on duty is the police commitment. That is a unique for police service. All the police, unique. Second is, during this natural calamities, your physical presence is mandatory. That is a commitment. Commitment to the ethics and ethos of the service. Next, courage of conviction. This again, one of the 7 characteristics of ethics. Ethical decision making. This is why it is courageous. It is voluntary. It's voluntary. No one forced you to be ethical, but everybody forces you to be legal, legally correct. Please see the difference, distinction. Because here, this refers to one of the 7 characteristics of ethics. What is this conviction? What is right thing to do? The right thing to do is whether equality, again I am taking the example again, or is it equity? Extending free bus ride is welcome. That is equality. But I want to bring in Rawlsian theory of justice. I want to bring in here the John Rawlsian theory of justice as fairness is nothing but equity. Also, I want to adopt here the Gandhi's Antyodaya. That is, the poorest of the poor gets the first priority. That is equity. As simple as that. So, The courage of conviction is, it's more than legal, is based on your integrity. See, imagine on the spot, if you know the basics of each word, is so easy to write the answer. Otherwise, sure we will lose. We'll get ourselves lost in the exam. Don't know where to start and where to. I always develop my answer only from the question, the words. That's why I, in fact, encouraging them, whatever comes to your mind, write answer first. Write the answer. Old question paper. Write it 10 times. Because UPSC cannot produce infinite number of questions here. Only the words changes. The format changes. The spirit remains the same.